Joe, obviously, before we get to the shocking Jet victory, the horrible news we all got yesterday morning about Nick Mangold, your thoughts on the passing of Nick at a ridiculously young age?
Well, first of all, look, one of the great Jets of all time, no doubt about it. One of the great centers of all time.
Yep.
I mean, I know he's up. He's up for. He's been nominated for the Hall of Fame. He should get in. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's a very limited amount of centers in the Hall of Fame. I was thinking about him the other day. I think it's Jim Ringo, Mike Webster, DeMonte Dawson, Jack Langer, Dwight Stevenson, and Kevin Mawai. So why shouldn't Nick Mangold be in there? He's as good as any of those guys in my mind. I think he's a six-time Pro Bowler and a great guy. Seven Pro Bowls.
Yeah, seven and 2 All-Pros.
Right, and 2 All-Pros, which is
right.
That means you're the best of the best.
Right.
I don't think there's any question. Put him in, and we can all go, just like we did for Klecko and Revis, we can all go to Canton. And even though Nick won't be with us, we can watch him get into the Hall of Fame. I met him a couple times. Great guy. Regular guy. And I'll never forget, me and you, we were there at the draft in 2006, and I'll never forget this, at Radio City back when it was in New York all the time. And the story was Reggie Bush and Vince Young and, I think it was Matt Leinart and all these guys. And we're talking, you and I, we've got to draft Reggie Bush and all of this. The Jets had the 4th pick in the draft. They take the Brick Ferguson. Then, at the end of the draft, they had another pick in the first round. They take Nick Mangold. It turned out to be probably the best draft in the history of the franchise. We had basically the 2 rocks of our starting offensive line for 10 years, probably the greatest left tackle we ever had in the Brick. It's close with Nick because you got to look at Mawai, too, who's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
So, 2 great centers that we've had. But that turned out to be, I think we got Leon Washington in that draft, Brad Smith in that draft. That turned out to be one of the great drafts in the history of the franchise.
No doubt. It wasn't sexy at the time because you're right. It was all about Reggie and Leinart and all that.
That's right.
And in a way, watching yesterday's game, let us hope, not the same positions exactly, that Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu can be those rocks for the next 10 years, too, because they played a hell of a game yesterday.
Well, they were the stars of the game. Look, obviously, Fields was great. Breece was great. By the way, you're not trading Breece. Let me get this out here right now. You're not trading Breece, okay? Okay, these are the kind of guys you're going to be looking for next year to help you go forward with a young team and hopefully a young quarterback.
Hey, Joe, I agree with you 100%. But isn't this what everybody said about Saquon when it was near the end with the New York Giants? Trade him when he's at his highest value and get something for him.
They didn't even trade him, though. They didn't trade him.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying now some people are saying trade Breece Hall. But I agree with you.
No.
Don't trade him. I mean, I know Isaiah Davis is a good player, and he had 100 total yards.
He had a great game
huge game.
Great
but
game.
He's not Breece Hall.
No. And the other kid, Allen, I really don't know about him. He got hurt. He had a big fumble. He's out probably for the year. Here's the thing, Tiki. Okay, you keep him. You try to sign him in the offseason. And if you don't, you franchise him. And the running back number is not it's not like you're franchising a quarterback or a pass rusher or a left tackle. You know what? That's what you do. That's what I would do.
Especially because if they trade him, they're going to get a 4th-round pick?
You're throwing him away.
Yeah.
What are you getting? You're basically getting nothing for him. I mean, come on. A 4th-round pick, especially the way our franchise picks, you know what? With our 4th-round pick, we won't be taking somebody like Cam Skattebo. And I want to say something about that, too, because I was putting the Giant game on in the commercials of the Jet game, and unfortunately, I happened to see the play where Skattebo got hurt.
That was terrible.
And you could tell immediately his ankle was going the wrong way. And look, I'm not a Giant fan, but what a hit. What a terrible. I mean, the kid had so much, him and Dart together, so much juice. And to see the kid go out like that's just horrible. Really, really horrible.
Horrific.
Yep.
A couple of things early in this game.
Yep.
4th and 1 from their own 37-yard line.
Right.
Your thoughts on going for it and then subsequently the toss to Breece Hall that got completely smushed?
Loved going for it. The play was horrible. Yeah. Now, what I'm hearing is that Fields audibled out of the play. Now, I think it might have been a quarterback sneak.
It should have been.
Should have been,
of
course. And remember, later on in the game, he did a quarterback sneak and got the first down. Yeah. Love the idea, being aggressive. We're 0-7. I was all for it, but the play call was horrible.
Yeah, I think the aggressiveness showed its head later. With the
2-point conversion?
Well, the 2-point conversion first, but also the other fourth down. I mean, that was pass all the way. Now, it was a great job by Justin Fields of buying time and finding his tight end, and then the going for it on fourth down. I mean,
how about the first touchdown, Tiki, was on fourth down? It was
fourth and two.
Right, yep.
And Fields made the throw to Johnson with a guy right in his face.
Yeah, I mean,
he put it right on the money.
Right, it was a zero blitz. For whatever reason, the cornerback or the safety slowed up before he got to Justin Fields for whatever reason, and that half a second allowed him to throw that. It was a floater because he got tipped into Johnson's hands. But, as I thought about it, early on in my mind, I'm saying, why is – like, dude, you don't need to be this aggressive. But then I realized, what the hell do you have to lose?
Right, you're 0-7.
If you're Aaron Glenn at 0-7, take every chance that you possibly can because you don't know how it's going to spark your team. And by the way, that's what happened. It started to spark the team to do really good stuff, at least offensively.
And I want to say this, too. Another thing that, not the game per se, what Woody Johnson said, there's no question that this lit a fire not only on the fields but under the team. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any question about it, and I don't think that that's what his intent was.
No.
I mean, obviously, but it worked. Whatever it was, it wound up working for this football team.
It greatly affected Justin Fields. I mean, you see him in that postgame admitting he was crying during the week, and he didn't put it on Woody. But, look, Woody Johnson is so odd because I get it. Justin Fields wasn't playing well. Like, we all criticized him, but it's something different when the owner of the team comes out in the clunky way that he speaks, where he's like, his rating is bad. Yeah. Like, even the way he talks, it just doesn't make that much sense. Can't complete it. It just... Right. It was something he shouldn't have said, but hey, if it somehow sparked Justin Fields to play his best football, God bless him.
No question about it. And I got to tell you, the two plays on the two-point conversions, which turned out to be huge in this game. Yeah. And I got to tell you, both times I was disagreeing with doing it. Okay. Both times, because the first time they were down 9, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're down. So if you don't get this, you're still down 2 scores. On that one, Fields made an unbelievable play. He got it. They were going to pass it. He got away from the pressure. He gets outside and he runs it in for 2. And then on the second one, at that point now, it's 38-30. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, well, you got to kick the. What are you going for 2 now?
Right.
You got to kick the extra point. And what a play he makes. I mean, he makes the throw as he's going down. Davis catches the ball. Initially, they're saying it's an incomplete pass. You saw the replay. You saw it recorded.
Yeah.
And barely was the football on the goal line. And obviously, maybe the biggest play of the game, that play.
No, it definitely was because it created the opportunity to win the game when you move the ball down the field and score again on what was a ridiculous play by Breece Hall. Now, there are some
players the sideline, running down the sideline.
Well,
no, you're talking about the touchdown pass.
The touchdown pass.
Yeah, the touchdown pass.
There are some guys who are just back like gamers. They just figure it out as it goes along. As soon as he tucked that ball, I was like, all right, whatever. Just maybe a reverse field, whatever. Figure something out. But that throw was it was QB-esque for a guy who doesn't play quarterback.
He pumped it, faked it, made just popped it up to Rudolph. I keep calling him Mason Rudolph.
Right, I know.
Mason Taylor, who had a really tremendous game. He caught a big third down as well. How about the receivers in this game? Tyler Johnson and Isaiah Williams. Both of these guys were huge in this game.
Yeah.
Williams caught some big passes. He even had that reverse for about 25 yards. How about the fourth down play to Rucker, of all people?
Yes.
Which gets him 25 yards.
This is why you get encouraged from Justin Fields because quarterbacks obviously are not supposed to make mistakes, just lead the team down the field, score points.
Right.
But he was making those guys better. Like the throws were making those guys in position to go make plays for themselves. And you got to credit Justin Fields for that. We were talking a bit earlier, and I think the biggest difference, Joe, is that Tanner Engstrand finally stopped trying to be ultra conservative with Justin Fields. When I went back and watched the game from Carolina, every throw was like a 2-step or a 3-step drop. In this game, he's taking 5-step drops. He's got a 7-step drop, and he's just safer. right? He's just away from pressure, that immediate pressure that comes just from the line push he would feel in the previous weeks. This week, he felt like he was like a Pro Bowl quarterback the way he was throwing the ball around.
The offensive line, Evan alluded to it earlier, was phenomenal. I mean, they didn't touch Fields in this game. They ran for 254 yards. I mean, you can't say, if this is what the offensive line is gonna be as we go forward. I mean, because I thought they would have, as much as all those guys were great. Fields was great, Davis was great, Breece was great, no doubt about it. To me, the stars of the game were the offensive line.
Absolutely, and they're essentially both rookies. I mean, Fashanu's a second-year player, but remember, he didn't even start right away last year.
And Tippmann is only, his second year, third year?
Yeah, third year, I think. They're incredibly young, and hopefully that's what this team is building towards, having the rock-solid offensive line that we saw during the Mangold to Brick era.
Yeah. No question about it. Now the defense stunk, and let me say a couple things about this defense.
Yeah.
And finally, look, because I know everybody. Look, not for a minute, and I got to tell you this too, guys. Did I ever think they're winning this game?
Me neither.
No, because with a minute and 50 seconds left, they got 3 timeouts, and all they need is a field goal to win the game. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to stop them. And they did. So credit to them. But a couple plays in this game. How about this? And I thought we were dead with this play. And they scored a touchdown, too, after this. 3rd and 12, and they let Joe Flacco run for 13 yards. Yeah. And Michael Clemens misses him on the play, right?
Yep.
I don't know how he's still on a team. He misses him. I thought they were dead after that play. And here's another guy. We always talk about how overrated Sauce is. I mean, let's be honest about it. Quinnen Williams, this guy. I mean,
the neutral zone infraction on 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4, he gives him a first down. Does he do anything? He had one assisted tackle yesterday. When do I see Quinnen Williams? Let me get delirious about this guy. When do I see Quinnen Williams make a play like I saw Dexter Lawrence make a few weeks ago against the Chargers when he bats the ball in the air, catches the ball, and runs for like 35, 40 yards? When am I going to see that? When am I going to see Quinnen Williams have like a 3 or 4 sack game? I don't see it, ever.
I'm curious now because Diana Rossini put out what she's hearing about it before the NFL trade deadline.
Yeah.
And she mentioned Jets are going to get a lot of calls on Quinnen Williams. Would you trade him?
I would think about it because I think he might get you a number 1 draft choice. Certainly a number 2.
Yeah, he's certainly getting a return, unlike Breece Hall.
Right. I'm not trading Breece Hall. But I would – look, I'm not getting what we should be getting from Quinnen Williams as far as I'm concerned. I think he's extremely overrated. Like I said, I mean, can I see him make a play like Dexter Lawrence? I mean, give me a break. I never see that. Never. So – yeah, I think you get no worse than a second-round pick for him.
Yeah, I mean, Dexter Lawrence has that reputation, and his previous years have been fantastic, but he hasn't made a ton of plays like that. A lot this year, but it's in his wheelhouse, that's for sure. I mean, the other thing, Joe, that is half those defensive backs, I didn't know who they were.
Right.
I was like, who is this guy?
Hey, you know what? Give those guys credit. Okay, I know that the kid, what's his name, Thomas, got beat on that touchdown to Higgins.
Right.
But they pretty much, they kept Jamar Chase he caught a lot of passes, but they kept him in check. He didn't kill him in this game.
Right, bend, don't break.
Right. So they made these kids made some plays, the kid from.
But they still gave up a ton of points.
Well, they're not any good. They got no pass. Tiki, where's the pressure? We had 1 sack by Will McDonald, which was pretty big late in the game. But where were they? They didn't get near Joe Flacco, and there was no blitzing at all.
Yeah.
Did they blitz?
And they couldn't stop the run. I mean, P. Ryan and Chase Brown all day.
They rushed for 184 yards in this game.
You mentioned something we don't see from Quinnen Williams. I'll tell you something else we don't see as a whole from this defense is force a freaking turnover. We saw the one turnover a few weeks ago, and the play. I never thought they were going to win. I'm completely with you. Even on 4th and 9 from their own 45, I'm like, they're going to convert a kick a field goal. We're going to lose.
Or we're going to see a pass interference or an illegal contact.
Yes, definitely. But the play that really killed me was about 3 plays earlier. The rookie A.Z. Thomas, as he's affectionately called, knocked the ball up. And came within like a centimeter.
He was out of bounds, though.
That was the problem.
Right.
Because
he definitely did not reestablish.
He never reestablished, but actually caught the ball back in the field of play. If he had reestablished, it's an interception.
Right.
And they never force him.
Well, they didn't turn the ball over either. But look, they got one turnover all year. They don't have it. How about this? The starting quarterback, Fields, has not thrown an interception all year, and the defense has not gotten an interception all year. How about that?
That's almost impossible.
Right?
I mean, you're halfway through the season almost.
Yeah, tell me about it. And I know he only played. He missed that one game against Tampa. But you know what? Well, you look at this team. You start to look at this season that we've had. I mean, they could easily. Let's be real. They could easily have 4 wins here. And you go back to the Pittsburgh game, the Denver game. Denver mailed that game in. They should have won that game. Denver's a really good team. But they didn't, like I said, they mailed the game in London. Let's be honest about it. They should have won that game. They had Tampa. If they could have made a stop against Tampa, they would have won that game. I mean, so many of these games, the only 2 games they really got killed was Dallas and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Even last week against the crummy Panthers, who, by the way, Buffalo annihilated yesterday. Right. I mean, come on. So here's my feeling going forward. You got 9 games left. There's a lot of football to be played. Let me see them win games. I want to see. I don't think this is unrealistic because they're still going to get a high draft choice. Go 5-4 over the last 9. You got games you can win. You got Cleveland. You got the Saints. You got Atlanta at home. You got Miami. I know Miami waxed Atlanta yesterday, but you got Miami. You got games you can win. So I want to see this going forward. I want to see some wins. And you're still going to get a high draft choice no matter what. You're not winning more than 4 or 5 games if you're winning that many. You're still going to get your quarterback in the first round. Let me see if we got a football team or not.
Now, let
me see if we got a head coach.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's the encouragement. That's why winning is so important. Right. You just nailed it. We can talk about picks all day.
Right.
We need to see success and improvement to know that there is a head coach here. Right. One thing that they've done
let me just say one thing. Because I don't, and I've said this before, I don't give a damn who the coach is. Mm-hmm. I just want to have a winning, a real legitimate NFL head coach. I don't care who the quarterback is. I just want to win. I don't give a damn if it's Justin Fields, if it's Sally Fields. I don't care. You know what I mean? I want to win.
With you.
That's all that matters. So, 9 games, a lot of football to be played. Let me see this team stack a couple wins here.
But also, we all want to win. If they finish 1-16 and fired this coach, their chances of winning are not good.
Right.
Because all of a sudden they'd be looking for a head coach and no one would want this job.
Yeah.
So we are better off. For any Jet fan who actually cares about winning, which I think is most of us,
I know you're
they got to win with Glenn.
It would have to get really, really bad for him to get fired.
I agree.
And I don't see that in the cards, him not being the head coach.
Well, would he put his rear end out for Glenn? I mean, when he criticized Fields, he didn't criticize Glenn.
No, you're right.
But he wants him to be the guy.
But we're also seeing, I know it was tough to admit it a few weeks ago because they kept losing. We're also seeing improvement, especially in terms of penalties. I know the Quinnen Williams one was a disaster, but, dude, they committed 4 penalties this week. Yeah. They committed 3 last week. They have clearly cut down on that.
Yes.
And we got to give the coach credit for that.
Yeah, no, they've cut down on the penalties. There's no doubt about it. I would agree with that. They're not making those dumb mistakes they were making before. But they got to, you got to get the turnovers. They just don't force any turnovers at all. I was very surprised to hear that they are, and I don't know if they got any yesterday or not. They got beat by Houston. That the Niners, Robert Saleh's defense, didn't have any interceptions either. Did you know that?
That's crazy.
I did not know that.
There were Spiro Ditas yesterday was saying there was only 2 teams in the league: the Jets and San Francisco. And I don't know if they got any yesterday.
They have forced 7 turnovers. And even if they're all fumbles.
Who's that, San Francisco?
San Francisco. At least they're forcing them.
Right.
They did get 1 interception yesterday. Okay, so they're off the snide.
So the Jets are the only team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even give fumble, interception. I don't give a rat's ass. Just force a turnover.
Oh, my God. Can I see one time, and I'm sure, look, we're going to get the bye this week, and I think they're actually the favorite against the bye for a change. And I think this is a big deal, too. I want to see Aaron Glenn, because we never win after the bye. You know this, Ed.
Yeah.
I want to see Aaron Glenn. This is a big deal for the coach. Have his team prepared and ready to play football coming out of that bye when they play the Cleveland Browns, who started a rookie quarterback. I know they got a solid defense. They got killed by the Patriots yesterday. I want to see this team ready to play football coming out of the bye. That's a big reflection on the head coach.
Absolutely. And it's a game they should win. They're going to be favorites at home against them. Go beat them.
Right. Right. No doubt about it.
Obviously, none of us are there yet. I was laying out a fantasy earlier in the show, like Woody Johnson somehow inspires Justin Fields and he becomes our franchise quarterback after all that. What a story it would be. Though not likely, what do you need to see from Justin Fields over these final bunch of weeks to say, you know what, screw drafting a quarterback. We have our quarterback.
Well, I got to see more games like yesterday. I mean, let me see more like yesterday. I mean, I don't want to see him now revert back to, being a disaster again going forward. I still would draft a quarterback, though. I still would. I mean, remember, they only got him on a 2-year deal anyway. Yeah. Right? He's there for 2 years. They gave him $30 million guaranteed. So I still am drafting a quarterback because, no matter what he does the rest of the
I do want to bring up something Met-related because I found this out in the last hour, and I'm annoyed about it, and I'm assuming you're going to be annoyed about it.
Pete?
It's not about Pete alone. It's actually about a coach. And I know coaching doesn't make us nuts, but Anton Richardson is not coming back.
How could he not? How could this guy – I mean, they were like unbelievable stealing bases last year.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think that they were thrown out by a catcher. I don't know how long. They got a bunch of times, and Lindor specifically got picked off by pitchers, right?
Yes.
Or picked off.
A catcher didn't throw a guy out at second base for like 5 months. It was ridiculous.
I mean, what did they have, 35 in a row or something like that?
It was crazy. Yeah, so
it really is. It's so wrong. It's amazing how Jeremy Hefner, we looked at him like he was Dave Duncan or Leo Mazzoni for a while, right?
Yep.
This great pitching coach. What the hell happened? What happened to the great pitching lab? Well, I don't want to get started on the general manager, on the the president of baseball operations.
I don't know if I blame Stearns or Cohen for this, but according to Jeff Passan, in terms of why Anton Richardson is not back, is they could not agree on a new contract.
What?
Which is like,
how much could a coach be making? He's not making more than a couple $100,000.
I know. That's why I read that. I'm like, Richard,
maybe that's to save face.
Save face. They got rid of all the other coaches. They could have just gotten rid of him. Instead, it sounds like they couldn't agree on money, and that sounds like a horrible decision considering what he turned Juan Soto as a base stealer into, and everybody on this Met team.
Stealing bases. I mean, it was you just didn't throw anybody out. It was amazing how they stole bases. Now, a lot, of course, the new rule with only 2 throw-overs to first helps it.
Yeah.
But they were just, dominant.
It's also
stealing bases.
Stealing on breaking balls. That helps.
Yeah, well,
it's about being smart. It's about reading the pitches and knowing when to go.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah.
Blame the coaching staff, of course.
Of course. Joe, good talking to you, man. We always appreciate it.
All right, guys, all the love. I guess I won't talk to you next week. No game, so we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Talk to you in a few.
Thank you,
See
Joe.
you.
The great Joe Benigno, after a Jet victory for the very first time. For the very first time this year, we get to talk to Joe after a win, as they do shockingly defeat the Cincinnati Bengals, and they head into the bye with 1 victory, and shockingly, for the first time all year, Jet fans feel somewhat decent about ourselves.